G'day guys, and today we're going to be having a look at a contrived sync grid I have designed for Lance and Dragonite, a sync pair. Now, I have designed this sync grid around the idea of the lore. Now, the lore is between Claire and Dragonite. Horsia apparently got wrecked by Lance's Dragonite when it was younger, before it became a Kingdra. Now we know that Claire's Kingdra is her original Kingdra that she used in Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Now essentially what I have decided to do with the sync grid is design it around the principles that Dragonite was using, skills like Dire Rain, Surging Rain, and ramming speed to wreck this Horsia, and it in a way copied Lance's Dragonite to become stronger and be what it is right now. I really like the idea of interpreting some of the Pokemon's lore into the sync grid. So what I've done essentially is I've drawn upon couple of different pockets of lore. So we've got the first pocket of lore, which is dragons and their ability to flinch or terrify or to intimidate, which I have designed Dragon Force around. Now, within and around Dragon Force, I do believe it could be very useful for more of a Battle Villa run per se, because Dragon Claw is a 2-gauge move and it does deal quite a truckload of damage if you were to take all the nodes of the Dragon Claw power-ups, and especially with a 40% chance to flinch. Like that's massive. I believe that might be higher than Steven and Metagross, and they're already pretty busted. The next bucket of lore I've designed my sync grid around is Dragonite's lack of ability to crit. Now this isn't a sync pair lore per se, but this is more to do with the fact that I believe Dragonite should have a way to crit. And the way I've given it that way to crit is the Force of Will passive. Now for those of you who don't know, Medicham has a move gauge dependent skill where if you use a certain amount of move gauge, you will get a certain amount of buff back. It's essentially the reversal of Dusclops and Phoebe, and the fact that you need to take a bit of HP off to really use that sync pair quite well with bloody Unbreakable Bonds, isn't it? Yeah. Now, the next thing I have included in this sync grid is Multiscale. Now, Multiscale is an ability in Pokemon, and to include that in the sync grid, I have decided to make it that it renders one of your trainer moves obsolete when it comes to taking recoil damage. It's only once though, and to really use it properly, you would have to go for something along the lines of Potions Master and Potions MP Refresh, which I've locked under your sync grid level 1. Reading into this grid a little bit further, I've included something called Sea Guardian. Now, in Dragonite's lore, Dragonite is known for rescuing stragglers out at sea, and I believe it can just Superman boats out of nowhere in a stormy sea and whatnot. And to coincide with skills like Surging Rain and Dire Rain, which Surging Rain is essentially my version of Speeding Sun, but for rain. Interestingly, I also have decided to take tidbit out of Caitlin's grid, where she has multiple MGR, multiple mood gauge refreshes on Psychic. And because of the Dragonite needing so much mood gauge, I've decided to give it a bit of a leg up when it comes to restoring its move gauge with a couple of MGRs. And, if you look at the grid, you guys are probably wondering how I would build it. And essentially, I'd take your ramming speed, your surging rain, and your dire rain, because I do not think... it might also be possible to grab your fast track, which would be very good, because it adds 20% of the time that your speed increases, which it buffs your ramming speed, and what more could you want, really? It's a bloody party in here. Anyway, I believe that concludes this sync grid speculation. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. It's my first time doing this, and I'd appreciate some comments or even some criticism. Just go wild. Like, I know you can't really be a perfectionist first go, but I've tried to do the best I can, and hope you guys are enjoying this type of content, and au revoir.